Hello and welcome to the CNBC-TV18 special. I'm Shereen, Bhan, and joining me here in Davos is Kalyani. Mr. Kalyani, thank you very much for joining us here in Davos. What is the mood here like? I mean, some are calling it realistic, some are calling it somber, some say that it's time for introspection. How would you assess the mood here?
Well, more than the mood, I think everybody is beginning to look at the reality. And the reality is that globally, we are in a very volatile world, socially, politically. There's just been a U.S. election, there's change of guard there's been Brexit. The Middle East continues to have problems. So, there is a lot of volatility, and this is nothing new. I mean, we've been living in a world of volatility for the last couple of years. But in spite of that, I think there are opportunities. Businesses continue to thrive, businesses continue to grow. And as far as we are concerned, India as such, or let's say our own business, I think the focus is more on India. The focus is on the growth story that's beginning to take place there. And I think that's where the direction is. So I would not call, that the mood here is in any way despondent or any way pessimistic. I think it's realistic, yes. But volatility is a reality.
Okay, so since you're saying that the focus will be on India, give me a sense of what kind of growth you anticipate seeing. I'm not even asking you the next 5 years, in the next financial year or even if this calendar year. So, what is it that you see as far as growth is concerned?
I mean, look, we've had a fairly large amount of headwinds in the last 2-3 years in business. Most businesses have had these headwinds. I think we have bottomed out. I've said this before. We're beginning to see growth coming back into our business. So I think our quarters will now start reflecting this. And I think next year we should see a double-digit growth coming into the business, but largely on the back of all the new things that we are doing for opportunities that have now come about in India, largely because this whole Make in India theme that the Prime Minister has put into place is a game changer. I mean, people may not realize this, but moving your economy from a 16-17% manufacturing as a percentage of GDP to 25 in the next 10 odd years, it fundamentally means multiplying your manufacturing 5 times.
But Mr. Kalyani, this 25% aspiration is not a new aspiration. I mean, this is something that that we've been wanting to achieve and we've been talking of achieving for several years now. So, the likelihood of being able to get there and get there as per the scheduled timeline, that now is the question. And do we have enough in play to be able to get there?
We have enough in play. I mean, let me take that first. We have enough on the plate to get there. Question is, do we achieve 25% by, let's say, 2025 or 2026 in 10 years from now, or do we achieve it 2-3 years later? That's not such a fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is, are you moving in that direction? Are you seeing sectors of industries which were otherwise not accessible to Indian business being accessible to Indian business? And I can give you some examples. If you look at defense, although one might turn around and ask, do you have orders? Okay. Now, it's a process, it takes time, but clearly we can see the direction in which it is moving. And there's no doubt in my mind that, in 5 years from now, Indian industry will be a large contributor of defense hardware that India needs. And that's a huge, huge business opportunity. You look at the whole era of capital goods, right from railways to power plants to ships. And I'm not talking about defense ships, I'm talking about, the other ships. I mean, all of these things, nobody made anything in the country. Everything comes from outside. And, now, step by step, Indian companies are beginning to supply into this supply chain. And as, infrastructure spending starts taking place, as, the whole smart city move comes. I mean, one of the areas that we can't comprehend too much is because for us, manufacturing means some metal, you got to see something.
Yeah.
Now, in the future, metal part is going to be much less, and the digital part of the system and services related to manufacturing is going to be much more. So you look at the... No, sorry.
No, I'm saying, how are you coping with this move towards what people are calling smart manufacturing and, digital transformation of the manufacturing process and so on and so forth? Where do you find yourself in that?
I mean, we have been the early, let's say, the earliest adopters of this technology and process. So we have already putting a lot of Industry 4.0 practices in our plant and bringing smart manufacturing in place. The next step would be to, get into the digital end of manufacturing. And what is the digital end of manufacturing? It fundamentally is a process that enlarges your scope of what you supply to a customer on both sides of what you are doing by attaching digital information-based sensors or whatever else that is. And that, over a period of time, then becomes a service-related business connected with your manufacturing. So I think, we are pretty clued into what is going on. The one thing that we lack in India is the ecosystem that is required for this kind of process, because we hardly have an ecosystem. You need an ecosystem with your educational institutes, with the innovation hubs, or whatever else you want to call it. You need a much larger startup ecosystem than what you have today, and that's related to a large extent on amount of venture funding that's available. I mean, I was quite surprised to hear the German minister talk in one of our sessions that out of the $100 billion that are spent on venture, Germany receives 3%. There's 3 billion. Okay, the Silicon Valley gets close to 50% itself. India must be some 0.01% or something like that. So you need, these are things that need to be done, and I think the government is working on it. There's a whole startup ecosystem that the Prime Minister has launched. Education system needs reform. This is what is going to build India. You say, are you going to meet the timeline? We have talked about the timelines 10 years ago. Why are we not building timelines? Because we are not building the processes that are required to make that happen. Now, these processes are now being built. So, I think one is a little more confident that things will happen.
You're feeling much better about growth prospects in India, but what about North America? What is the sense that you get there?
Well, North America has had a record automotive production last month. So things are not bad. The oil and gas market is coming back. The things are not bad. We have now a large facility in North America. And, we hope to expand that facility and produce a lot of products locally. So, it's a good market. But I think for a company like us, with the breadth of technologies that we have in the metallurgical sector, in the component sector, and which we have now enlarged to build subsystems and systems for defense, the opportunities are in India.
So, international acquisitions, then you've just done one very recently.
We will continue to do it.
You'll continue to do that.
We will, but our international acquisitions are never going to be mega scale. We're not going to spend big money in international acquisitions. We largely try and do it on a strategic basis to be close to our customers, to service them better, to be in in the geography, and it has worked well for us.
So, if given that during the course of this interview, you've now said thrice that India will be the focus for you, give me a sense of what it could mean over the next 5 years in terms of revenue mix. I mean, revenues from international markets and revenues from India.
Well, our target is to double our business in that time frame. Clearly, it doesn't mean that we will neglect the international market. No, I think we will continue our focus on that. But the growth opportunities in the Indian market are much larger because it's not just automobiles that we are talking about. In the Indian marketplace, we are dealing with railways, we're dealing with infrastructure-related areas like power. We're dealing with defense, which is, it has not opened up. I mean, order flow has not started, but at least the policy framework is now in place. Things are happening. The new RFQs are coming on the Make in India basis. So, those opportunities are big.